Hi everybody, I'm Garrett Fitzgerald and welcome to Limitless, Inspiring Stories from the Edge. This is a show where we sit down with inspiring people from all walks of life and people who've been to the edge, who've lived to tell about it, and can now share some of their insights and perspectives on what they've learned along the way. Today's guest, Mike Ergo. Mike is an amazing human being. He's a husband and a father, a Marine, a triathlete and an ambassador for the Ironman Foundation, and a recovering saxophone player.
Yes.
Yes. And Mike, I know you're busy getting ready for Ironman Santa Rosa, so thanks for taking the time to share your story. Appreciate
Glad to be here, man.
All right.
Glad to call you a friend.
Oh, likewise. So, Mike, you're a hero in more ways than one. You have an amazing story as a Marine who fought in Iraq. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And then the struggles that you faced and overcome since you've come back home.
True.
But we'll get to that in a minute. First, I want to get to know more about you. And I mentioned the fact that you're a recovering saxophone player. So I think so many people have this idea, this image of what a Marine looks like.
Yeah.
And what that whole experience is. So what I want to know is, how do you get from band camp to boot camp?
That's a good question. And it's one that I got asked many times, especially when I became an infantryman. So I always loved sports and music, and I started playing piano early on in life, thanks to my grandma, and then took an interest in saxophone. And I was in all the bands: marching band, symphonic band, pep band, jazz band, and then the percussion auxiliary. So I did them all. Nice. I was that guy.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
I was there too. My dad's a music teacher, so.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I never had an idea to join the military, even though I always respected stories I heard about Marines and liked the idea of serving. Did a lot of service projects with my church in Mexico and one in Slovakia. And so I just loved service. It was fun. And we had somebody who had just graduated boot camp and was going to be in the Marine Corps band come to our band class one day with a recruiter and talk a little bit about what that experience could be like. And I said, ooh, these are two things I really want to do. So yeah, I auditioned and passed with my saxophone to be in the Marine Corps band. And this is spring of 2001. So the country was not at war. I said, great, let's do it.
Sign you up.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's pretty wild. That had to have been a shock so you were enlisted, and I read somewhere along the way that you did a late entry?
Yeah, the delayed entry program is when you're still in high school or you're not ready to ship out to boot camp yet. Okay. You sign up, so you swear in and say, yes, I'm going in. In my case, I had to finish high school, and then I had to finish extra high school. So I was not the best student in my last semester. So
okay, yeah, I can relate to that. So you go to Iraq.
Yes.
And you experience things that most people just can't fathom. How does that affect someone in that situation?
I think it's such a difficult experience to categorize. And I remember people asking me when I got home, what was war like? And I just didn't know how to answer that. Was it good? Was it bad? It didn't fit in these categories. It's just asking like, so what's Earth like?
Right, yeah.
It's a lot of things.
Right.
You know, there were times where I really bonded with people and saw people I didn't expect step up and save other people's lives, and where I saw people who I looked up to cower in the situation and give up. I learned a lot about myself, and I learned that when my life was on the line, I was able to respond to help people and face enemy threats. So it was a true test of character and training. And there's also a lot of nasty stuff, you know, death and destruction, killing, seeing cities wrecked, and, you know, being part of that action. So it was something that I just, so much information to take in at the time when I had to concentrate on who's shooting at me, let's shoot back at them, keep these guys safe. Right. And then so getting back, just having all those other thoughts come in, like, what did I really go through? Like, what was this? Right.
In your work, you help a lot of people through PTSD.
Yeah.
And coming back from war, you had your own struggles that you had to overcome. The feelings and the issues that you had to deal with. One, what did you feel?
Yeah.
And then two, were they things that happened immediately? Like, were you still in war and starting to feel these things, or did they come on later after you got back home and said, all right, nobody's shooting at me. I'm not shooting at anyone else. I'm just sitting in my living room, with my wife. When does all that happen?
Some of like the grief and mourning started when we were still in country, because in the city of Fallujah, the battle that we were part of in November 2004, for us it lasted just about a month, almost to the day. And then we lost so many people that they had to pull us out because one of our companies was combat ineffective, meaning, okay, we got to have a replacement unit come in. So we did a lot of the heavy lifting, a lot of the heavy fighting. And then we had a month of doing some lighter work, just some patrolling around and setting up checkpoints and stuff. So I started to think, oh, wow, these people I lost, they're just gone. And my whole idea of, everybody in the universe is a special human being. There's a purpose to life. Things work for a reason. That idea for me just completely flipped out and changed. And at that point, I was just believing everything is just pure chance, and just there's nothing really good in the world. So that's where things changed. And then when I got back, I started having physical reactions, and it was this interesting thing, which is what trauma is there's a part of your body, part of your brain that picks up something that seems dangerous related to what you saw, either a natural disaster, sexual assaults, just any kind of near-death experience, combat being one. So my body was giving me the signals something bad's about to happen, and my mind was saying, but I'm here in California and things are safe. Right. And so it was very confusing. And so I would have panic attacks driving to school. My body would start sweating. I'd be nervous, really nervous in crowds, and just angry because, military training is, if you're scared and you stay in that state, you're a liability. So you're taught from day one in boot camp, you get angry, and that gives you the power to overcome things. Right. Great in war, not as great coming back. It doesn't work out with a relationship, school, jobs. Yeah.
As someone who's never had to be in any kind of military experience like that, or be in any of the things that you experience that way, it's such a foreign concept. I mean, other than watching movies. Yeah,
that's true. I mean, some of the things do translate, but some of the things, I think that's why, vets or active duty military would see a war movie and they'd be angry because, it's you just can't capture that experience. Right. Because you're there. So, and then coming back to having a lot of people just ask me questions like, was it worth it? Or how many people did you kill? Or, what do you think about the war in Iraq? Like, all of a sudden I'm the ambassador for all the military or something. So I was like, I don't know.
You did your gig.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so, and the thing with that, I mean, the people would ask me questions, and 99% of the time they weren't malicious asking these questions. Right. They wanted to know, because we have such a divide between the people going over and the people back at home, and they're like, how can I be part of this and help? But that would bring up a lot of memories. Like, someone asked me, did you kill anyone? All of a sudden, all these thoughts go through my head. Did you lose anyone? Yeah, I can think of over 20 people I lost. And, it would be the equivalent of me asking someone, hey, was your mother ever raped? Let's talk about that, right? Right. And, but it's just a weird thing that happens. People want to know and don't know what's appropriate or Right. I would imagine there's plenty of opportunities for people who just don't know, who don't get it, to cross those lines. You served our country as a Marine, and then you come back home, and now you serve your fellow military brothers and sisters as a counselor in the VA. Is that correct? That is correct, yeah. I'm pretty lucky. I came back to a great support system. My wife did her thesis on the effect of combat and how people coming back from combat are likely to get PTSD and what PTSD is. And that was relatively early in the conversation, because it was 2005, about PTSD and war. So she was as prepared as she could have been. I had family who was really supportive of me talking to someone, getting any kind of help I needed, and a community who was happy to see me come back. And I even had a neighbor who was a Vietnam vet who came up to me and said, you look like I did when I got back from Vietnam. And he brought me to a vet center, a place where I ended up working after I got my degrees. But I had a lot of people looking out for me, and that was really important. And so I didn't want to face any of this pain and any of the guilt of coming back when some of my friends didn't, and just the fear, horror of trauma. And so I for a while I was drowning it out with booze, cannabis, pills, a little cocaine here on the side, whatever I could do just to keep that buffer up. But I got the help, and I had a moment where I had some hope, and a therapist told me, hey, she helped me get new perspective on things, helped me feel okay feeling these difficult feelings. It's like you can feel these things, you can fully be here, you don't have to detach, you don't have to dissociate, you don't have to numb out, and you can be here. Life still goes on. You can have a great life.
That had to have been huge for you.
Humongous, because it was an obvious thing, and at that time, I was finally ready to hear it, though. That's the key part.
Yeah.
And I got to experience it. I got to feel it. I got to feel safe in my own body, which I realized I hadn't been. Being in my own body, fully sober and fully aware and fully present, was not a safe place to be. So, yeah, she said, hey, have you ever thought about being a social worker? And I just said, you mean like taking people's kids away? And she said, well, no, I am a social worker, and this is what we do too. You can be a therapist, you can be a counselor for people. And I was like, new life's purpose right there, a new mission.
Right.
So once again, I got to become someone who could serve other people and try to give them help them to find the hope that I got.
This sense of service, of serving and duty and responsibility that you take on, I guess my question is, has this always been a driving factor in you? Has it been who you've always been throughout your life in wanting to serve others and feeling a sense of responsibility for the people around you?
I think so.
Yeah?
I think so. And my grandpa points back to when I was 4 years old, and my friend and I lived next door to me. We were best friends. We'd ride bikes. I remember I fell off my bike, and he was laughing. He's like, you totally fell. And I was like, all right, I fell. And then he was riding his bike. He fell off, and he was crying, and I was like rubbing his back. I was like, hey, it's okay. He said, I knew then you'd end up being a counselor or working with people like that. And I'm very emotionally sensitive, and I'm hypersensitive. So I pick up on people's emotions, which is its own set of challenges.
Of course.
But that has helped me when I can direct that energy in a way that is, one, keeping me holding my own feelings and letting other people hold their own feelings, but enough to where I can connect those things and find that empathy. So in one sense, yes. And also it felt good. It felt good to serve and be with other people and see them happy. So there's a very practical reason to it as well.
Hey man, you're great at doing it. I mean, it's something that, I've known you a little bit now. I mean, I know your background, and I know what you've done. I know where you've come from. But to see you interact with people on just a regular basis, sitting around the table, having breakfast, standing behind a podium and in front of athletes, talking about why it is you're here, it's something that you make people feel at ease, and you bring a sense of mission. Your own mission, and you offer it out to them, and it's extremely inspiring to watch. It's amazing to see.
Thank you.
Of course.
I get excited because I was like, someone's going to grab onto this, and they're going to feel the same way, and then we can make that eye contact. Be like, you know what I'm talking about now, right?
Yeah.
And then we can have that connection. That's an exciting moment.
It is, and so I guess talking about standing up on stage behind a podium. Yesterday, you stood up and you told the Ironman athletes preparing for Santa Rosa about the Gold Star initiative and something that you developed. What do you guys do? And can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Yeah, so I can tell you first, just brief thing, a Gold Star family is someone who's lost somebody, a son or daughter or a family member in active duty military service, whether that's in combat or an accident stateside. And so I had a lot of Gold Star families from my unit, the guys we lost. And what I started to realize afterwards is, one, I avoided them because I felt guilty, because I was like, they probably don't want to talk to me, and I wish I could have brought their son back to them. Right. I felt terrible about it, and it sucked. So I did not connect with them. People I really wanted to talk to, and people who I found out really wanted to talk to me.
Right.
And I found out too about Gold Star families is that while there's an initial really big outpouring of support when they lose somebody, there's the bereavement, there's the funeral, the flowers, the hugs, and the well wishes, that afterwards it's like, I don't know what now. We had the funeral, so I found out that all these Gold Star families were being shunned in some cases or ignored because people just felt uncomfortable, like, I don't know what to say because I can't change this. And so then they'd lose first a family member and then a lot of their community.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that's garbage. That's terrible. And I realized that I was part of that too, because I didn't want to face my own difficult feelings. Mm-hmm. And so I said, what if there's some way to connect Gold Star families and veterans, a lot of who are bringing their own survivor's guilt, and the community? And I just said, well, what if we do that here at the Ironman community? Because this is like race week and race day. It's the most exciting time of the year for me. Yeah. It's like everybody is like buzzing. We work so hard and now we're all encouraging each other. And so I said, well, that would be fun if we could bring this together somehow. So I said, what if I asked Ironman if I could carry a flag for a local Gold Star family in memory and honor of their son? And they said, yeah, let's do that. And so I did that last year in 2018 at Santa Rosa, Ironman Santa Rosa. And it got a lot of positive reception, both from the Gold Star family. I felt great about it. The community loved it. It's like, wow, this is something we can actually tangibly do.
Right.
And then I did it again in the summer. And then I asked Ironman, let's make this a national thing. And they said, yeah, let's do it. So we can get other people, other Gold Star families, other vets an opportunity to be part of it. The Gold Star initiative would not have started unless I connected with someone really special to me, Lisa Anderson. And she's a Gold Star mom. I met her at the Ironman 70.3 Super Frog. That's down near San Diego. And she was a volunteer, and I saw she was wearing a Kill in Action bracelet. And I looked at her, and I was checking in for that race, and I asked her, is that your son that you wear that for? And she looked at me and she said, yeah, that's my son. And I told her that I had been racing up to that point to honor my fallen friends by wearing their names on the back of my jersey. And I asked her, because I was preparing to race in Kona, Hawaii for the World Championships, I said, could I carry your son's name too and honor him at that race? And she said, yeah. And we had this moment and we just looked at each other and I said, I don't know what it's going to be, but something really special is going to happen. We're going to do something really cool together. And then so we started talking. And after I carried the flag here in Santa Rosa last year, I talked to her. I said, maybe we can make this something really big that Ironman would support and we could get other people a chance to do it. And I asked her, I was like, I can't do this without you though. Would you be my partner in this? And so she said yes. And so we're both working, side by side, and we both came up with the idea of the Gold Star Initiative. So a vet and a Gold Star family member coming together, with the Ironman community.
It was just meant to be.
Totally. Completely meant to be.
Completely. Yeah. And Lisa's awesome.
Yeah, she's really cool. She's an Ironman athlete herself. She's done a number of half Ironmans and is going to do her first full this year. So it was the perfect person, right place at the right time.
Yep.
And I knew just right then, I was like, whatever it is, something powerful is going to happen if we just allow it to happen.
And how do people become a part of it? Someone's watching this.
Someone's watching it. They can find the Ironman Foundation's website and click on the Gold Star Initiative and apply either as a veteran or active duty military athlete or as a Gold Star family, saying, hey, I want to be part of this. And then, people will go over the applications and we'll match people up for races. And it's pretty simple.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's cool. The scariest moment about this, I think, is saying like, I want to do this and clicking it, because that fear is powerful. And for a while after I got back from Iraq, the fear was crippling, and everything that was calling to my heart, I said no to, because the fear to me meant death, destruction. I don't want to have any fear. But then through a spiritual leader and therapist, I learned that fear in a lot of context was a signal of something my heart really wanted, but I was afraid I wouldn't be able to do. And so I was able to start to lean into that fear. And that's what people can do if they say, ooh, I like this idea, but it's terrifying. That's perfect. Yeah. That means your heart really wants to do it.
Absolutely. I've had a couple of experiences like that myself. And,
yes.
And no, it's so rewarding for the people who do it, and for the people that would sign up to be in the Gold Star program. I think it's absolutely something that every veteran and every active duty military person should be out there who is a triathlete or interested in becoming a triathlete should be signing up to do. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff.
It can be the next mission, because a lot of us come back, we're like, what now? You know, you see war especially, and you're like, what could be bigger than that? What could even compare to that? I mean, civilian life can be boring after something that just wild and chaotic. And so for me, this is my next mission. This is what I can fully invest myself in. And I know that there's so many vets and active duty, you know, people out there who will find that same passion. And it really makes the race easier, because it's like, oh, it's not just for me to finish. I'm doing this and somebody will feel great about it, and I can feel great about that. And so much easier.
And I understand that you also have something special put together for Mother's Day and the Gold Star Initiative. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course. This is Mother's Day weekend for this race. And I thought, what better way not only to bring support to Joan, our Gold Star mom, but by bringing other Gold Star moms up here, but to let them experience a Mother's Day like they might not have had for a while, especially if they've lost their only child.
Yeah.
And so we are going to have lunch for them. We're going to have massage. We're going to have makeup. We're going to have flowers and cards. And they're going to get to sit and just hang out and just have fun. And some might stay to watch the race too. But it's going to be fun just knowing while I'm at the course that, you know, just because it's Mother's Day, they'll be able to have fun and relax.
Yeah. Fantastic idea. Fantastic idea. Well done. I can't say enough good things about what you're doing, man. It's amazing. So tomorrow, you're going to go out there. You're going to race Ironman Santa Rosa. And you're going to be carrying the American flag for 26.2 miles, the marathon portion of the Ironman.
Correct.
And for people who don't know an Ironman distance, it's 140.6 miles. So you have already swam 2.4 miles. You already have ridden 112 miles on your bike. And then you're going to run a marathon holding the American flag on behalf of...
It's Corporal Mick Bukowski. And the cool thing this year, we have a streamer with his name and rank on it. So people will be able to see, oh, okay, that's what that's about. And the cool thing is, on the course, when you get to carry a flag, you forget about the weight, you forget about the drag and the wind and everything, because there's so many people just charging you up. So many people coming up to me along the course, high-fiving, and be like, I love this is awesome, thank you. And I'm saying, yeah, I'm a representative of this movement, I know, and it feels good. It feels really good.
It's got to be an honor to carry that flag in someone else's name and have their name hanging right there with the flag.
It truly is. And before I start the run, Joan Bukowski, the Gold Star mom, will have the flag. And like I've done the last 2 times, when she hands the flag to me, I let the family know that I'm accepting this flag as a representation of your trust in me to carry your son's memory and to honor him and to honor the sacrifice you've gone through. So it's a really symbolic handoff. And I say, I'm going to run a few miles and I'm going to bring this back to you. And, you know, your son is never gone. He's never forgotten. He's in our hearts forever. And just talking right now, I get goosebumps.
Yeah.
Because...
Me too.
Yeah, that bond is never gone. That bond is never broken. And that's the thing with mourning someone and feeling grief, is because that connection still exists long after someone's physical body is gone. And so I never tell anyone to, hey, you should just get over this and move on. Keep that memory, keep that connection with them. And this is to spark that flame again for people to be able to say, yes, I still carry this loved one with me and they're still alive.
Well, it's inspiring, it's beautiful, and I can't think of a better way to stop things there. We need to let you go rack your bike and get ready for the race tomorrow. Thank you again for taking time out of your day to talk with us, and thank you for your service to our country, and thank you for everything you've continued to do since. you're an incredible inspiration to me and so many others out there. And so thank you, and just keep up the great work.
Likewise with the inspiration, because I love how this is contagious, you know?
It is.
It's good stuff.
Well, good luck tomorrow.
Thanks, brother.
All right, man. And thanks to everyone who was watching, and we'll see you next time on Limitless. Take care, everybody.